what happens is my my volume meter doesn't work, and I have to reload the page to get it to work. That to make sure I'm being heard. I mean, I assumed that I was, but so if we look at the investigation, the age of Elon Musk puts him square in the neo-Nazi age group, the rise of the neo-Nazis. I think the salute he used is a neo-Nazi salute. I was trying to figure out if it was a Nazi salute. The one where they hit the chest and then they salute, that's neo-Nazi, isn't it? So Elon Musk is most likely a closet neo-Nazi if he didn't just make a mistake. We agree. Let me go see who's out here. Maybe somebody trying to steer me with a headlight. I want to see who it is. Oh, my God. I want to go outside and just confront these people and see who they are. Oh, it was just a reflection from the snow. No more backing down, bitches. No more backing down. Correct. That's it. They tried to kill me again. Don't know what they used. Trying to get myself out of the pain syndrome they caused. Probably did it 3 or 4 times at least before. Definitely were in my apartment. Rip the heads off, shit down the necks. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let official government process work. No, that's the neo-Nazi salute, isn't it? Right. Skinheads. He's a skinhead. He's with the skinhead age group. His age is perfect, for the rise of the skinheads. He's a skinhead. Right. Yep, he's wacko. If he lost his mind and he wants to be Mr. Skinhead, he needs to go. Just the way the world works, Overville. His 300,000 man army or whatever it is he employs. 3,000, I don't know how many guards he has. I mean, nobody. He's feeling too froggy. Dude. I agree. I'm not going to let a skinhead get that big. History tells us that we need to investigate Elon Musk for ties to skinhead, neo-Nazi movement. Fits the perfect, investigatively fits the age group. He may have been festering inside while he was using narcotics and stuff and just lost his mind. He admits to using narcotics. Not something that I'm just making up. Nazis used narcotics, and that was one of the issues. They were on drugs when they were killing all these people. 100%. Is he on any type of stimulant? That's a Nazi thing. They're on steroids and stimulants. Probably have that in the police department, steroids and stimulants. They know what they're doing to me, trying to kill me. I'm sure Mossad hears me. Of all the people that hear me, I'm sure they hear me. Even if you block me from them, they hear me. Well, the other corridor will be legitimate, but again, the key to the corridors is to operate the corridors without causing an escalation in anger. Right. So I think, like I said, one of the keys to that is finding, again, if you put an IDF Palestinian person, it's not the same as a Palestinian Authority. Now, the Palestinian Authority people and the IDF have to, they have to work together. So they have to learn how to work together, learn that, limitations on each side of how, we don't want to have a negative interaction. on the border, right? And that doesn't help us, right? But again, they can maybe have a little interaction and make it work. Like kind of like Korea, but different. Where you actually have a zone where the interaction takes place on the border, right? Where the people coming across, and you have Israeli government people, and you have Palestinian government people. Right. Well, again, the idea is this: that we're going to move forward from what was. And when we do that, there's Palestinians that I'm sure will want to move forward from what was, especially if we, extend the olive branch honestly, and we work operations together with one another. I agree, my friend. So this. See, what happens is the mind went in the other direction. Again, I speak about the mind and minding something. So the mind went in the direction of wanting the Palestinian to be wrong. Right. And the Jew and the Israeli has more money, is more powerful. Right. So if our mind is we want them to be right, we want to find Palestinians that you don't have to be part of or IDF, ADF. You don't have to be part of anything. You just you're part of the Palestinian Authority, but you're part of what we do because we're all going to keep the peace and we're going to make sure there's never another war here. Right. So again, when we get to that mindset, we mind that we want Palestinians to feel that we can get past what's happened. I'm so sad that all those children were killed. Again, I don't wage war that way. Right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Liz. Again, when we didn't wage war, when we focused on hearts and minds, when Major Gant had his operation, we succeeded. And then who the Nazis in the military killed him. Right. They used some sort of spy gap. There's a lot of anecdotes from the beginning of the war where the spies are like jealous of like anybody that's capable. There was a guy, a contractor, that came up with in Iraq that came up with the awakening councils before they were awakening councils. He started arming, the Iraqi paramilitary that was working with us, and they tried to arrest him, and they blackballed him. But next thing you know, it comes up a few years later with like CIA or something, or some other person that was the face person for the program. So they're notorious for that. Correct. So Gant wasn't the first time they did it. It's jealousy and anger. So again, that's probably what we need to do. Well, again, if Elon Musk made an honest mistake, Mossad will figure it out. Shin Bet will figure it out. If he didn't, don't give him a pass. We need him gone. He's too big. Right. And he's got secret soldiers running around the country. Right. He could be right. He could be already killing Jews. We don't know that. We don't know what he's doing. Right. He could be already targeting Jews. Yeah. Agreed. He's not too big to go. I'll tell you that. Okay? Mossad and Shin Bet says he goes, then he goes. Okay? Not here to play games with secret soldiers. And Trump will understand. I'm sure he will. Correct. No, that's. I was trying to place it. I'm like, where did I see that salute? Because it's not just a Nazi salute. He's hitting his chest. That's a neo-Nazi skinhead salute, and that's his age group. Right. Right. It's not a game anymore. He's a neo-Nazi. He's gone. Agreed. Make sure you look at people in Kansas. They're here. I really believe the liberals were like a red herring, so that you would focus on them. I mean, I don't care. It is what it is. But right. I believe there's real Nazis here, and they're trying to get us to focus on just stupid kids. Right. They went underground. Neo-Nazis and the skinheads went underground. No, it's ended. It's a government operation in Israel. They'll take care of it. I'm not going to do anything. Government of Israel will handle it. Obviously, the FBI is not going to handle it. Probably uses some of them. Thank you, Larry. No, Elon Musk is not a friend of Israel at this point. Not here to play games. So, like I said, the game that the Nazis play is they're rich and they rub elbows with rich Jews. We can't afford that anymore. If you rub elbows with rich Jews, that's fine. But you're a Nazi, you go. 100%. No, if he didn't do that in front of the entire world, then we wouldn't be here. So don't point at me. Because he wouldn't be that far, it would be something like, in other words, he has no inhibition now. His drug use, Adolf Hitler used drugs. He's lost his mind. He's got secret soldiers running around this country. He pays operators. What are they doing? Who are they taking out? Jews? They hunting Jews? Judenrausen? Need to find out. I don't give a shit who he works with or who he works for, how much money he has. He just showed that he's a neo-Nazi skinhead. I have no idea what the ADL is saying, but the JDL says there's something wrong. Correct. Now, for all you know, somebody, the receipt of money from him, who knows? Right. Oh, it's a, yeah, stream's still on. Now I was in the mine with some people in the government. Right. Now there's some apolitical people. I'm really apolitical, but don't try to kill me. Just don't let your people try to kill me, Trump. Just telling you that. 100%. Thank you, Larry. So again, so the investigation needs to be such from even in the United States, you could do some investigation. We need to discover where the neo Nazis are and the skinheads. They went underground, so we need to investigate. Probably millionaires and billionaires. Well, I get nothing, right? Really interesting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So we need to find out where the Nazis and the skinheads and all them are. I suspect it's not traditional Nazi. I suspect it's the neo-Nazi skinhead based upon the age group of Mr. Musk. Thank you, Larry. Well, we don't know what they do in their closed circles. They may be not. He may have a meeting with somebody, and they give the Nazi some neo-Nazi sign. I think didn't he do one of those signs like the thing that looks like somebody doing an okay or something? Didn't he do one of them before? No, they're gone. I mean, there are people that are in this world that can take out neo Nazis, whether they're billionaires, millionaires, or anything else. Well, it's time that they understand that it's not okay. I mean, you're talking about this guy who's going to talk about going to handle the budget of the United States. I mean, face it, he's like a budget czar. And now that Ramaswamy's not there, whether you hate him or love him, he's now he doesn't share the limelight with anybody, right? So who's he going to move in, right? A couple of his own people, right? So you see what's happening, right? Trying to make it a one-man operation. Now, if it was an honest mistake, which, at first I was thinking maybe. And then I said, where did I see that before? The way he's doing that is different. Where did I see it before? Neo-Nazi, skinheads. So again, when you're thinking of a 1945 Nazi salute, I don't think they did it that way. But if we think of the 1985 Nazi salute, I think that's the way they did it. Right. So it is what it is. It needs to be checked out. Now, don't pull any punches. He's too big to pull punches. Right. No splitting hairs, no pulling punches. Figure it out. Thank you, Larry. Well, to bring peace is not to lose the war. I disagree with Ben Gvir on that. So I don't look at it as, and again, I don't know what caused him to be like that. Right? He lived in Israel. He saw a lot of death. I'm sure of that. Okay. May have lost somebody that was near and dear to him. Well, I know he wanted to marry a girl and she died. I don't know. Right? Or a Palestinian killed her or something. Right? But again, for the sake of people, right, we need to get forward of all of it the best that we can. I mean, if you wanted to exact revenge, I think you exacted revenge. Thank you. Well, peace benefits everyone. Right? And I think there's a lot of people that don't want to live in Israel anymore. They're back to New York or wherever they live, right? For at least the time being. So you need to make it comfortable so they can come back and you can grow as a nation. And, it's just really a beautiful thing when you connect to an Arabic person and have a meaningful relationship. And I know you have people in IDF and in Mossad, they're Arabic history, but or Arabic family history, right? But it's time again. Spirit of Gilda Meir is here, and it's just time. We have power. We can think things forward. We can make things work. And again, once the Palestinian Authority understands that that's where we want to go, if they understand that they have a place in the future of Israel, no matter what it is, we don't have to get to the two-state solution the first day. We can refine a Palestinian Authority government within Gaza and the West Bank or whatever it's decided. That's a legitimate government that shows that it can operate as a legitimate government. Not to say they're illegitimate, but they've never had the time to grow. They've never had the effort to grow into a much more refined government. Again, it's crazy because we see the terrorists growing into refined terrorist organizations, but we don't see the government being allowed to move into a more refined government. And I think that was the movement that Omar was trying to start. I know it was what I was trying to start, to say let's at least get them, even if they were a state government within Israel. Like in the United States, you have the United States, then you have the state governments. Even if it was a state government in Israel, Israel would benefit from these people succeeding in that way. But it's just something you can't get to. If you can get to again, there's been a lot of harm, and the problem is when we look back, we're not going to get forward. And I'm not telling you that it doesn't mean anything. It actually means something so much. It means so much that we need to get to peace. We can't allow anything else to happen. All the death and the terror and the anger. Right? Okay, sorry. No, I've sacrificed my life in reality. I'm not a person that usually speaks about these things. I've sacrificed my life for peace in Israel and peace in other places. I know sometimes I war, but I war because there was no other option. If Hashem says there's no other option, I understand no other option. But Hashem had said there was options. Thank you, Lord. And again, we can't be part of the reason the war exists and be not culpable, even if it's someone else attacks. So again, rekindling the relationship between Egypt and Israel was important and is important. We kind of let it die. Again, I speak about that with Russia. It was allowed to die. And I don't know, spies could have did that. They had a grudge from the Cold War. Thank you, Larry. War is a lot easier than peace. Peace takes a lot of work. Well, I know I was terrorized into being an angry person at times. Again, I just get it out and that's it. Right? I don't engage in a war in Europe. That may have happened to Putin. Putin may have been made angry by psychological warfare. Oh, because they don't like his ideology. And I don't like his ideology sometimes. But I also know that there's people trying to live a peaceful life in Russia and Ukraine. It's just not worth it. I mean, it's a hard thing to get past the death of all those children. But I think it's incumbent upon both sides to just get past everything that happened. Well, I'm just giving you a point of view from the Palestinian because, again, you feel you can't get past the terrorist actions. And again, you're probably right. They feel they can't get past the death of all those children. They're probably right. But it doesn't mean that we create a world where there's death of more children and more terrorist action. Right. Yeah, we can mind a world of peace. Well, again, the idea that terrorism doesn't pay, war doesn't pay, requires aggression. And again, I realize there's dangerous people. I realize they're terrorists. But what we have to try to get everything, what we need to do is try to bring the world back the way it was. There's criminals and there's non-criminals. You see, when we use those titles, it's a little bit easier. So a terrorist is a criminal. Now, there's allegations of war crimes against Bibi. In some people's world, Bibi's a criminal. So again, let's reestablish relationships. Let's design a world that works. Let's tell people in the IDF, people in our border services, we don't expect you to allow them to hit you over the head and just accept it. But we need to learn de-escalation. We need Palestinian Authority working next to us. We need to speak to these people in a respectful manner. We need to not support the settler over the Palestinian, and of course don't support the Palestinian over the settler. Right? Well, because what we're doing is we're identifying the person or the people that we interact with in the government service as us and them. And then that's seen, that's felt. Right. Thank you. No, that's what brings some of it on. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But if we can get to the point that we all say no more war, no more terror, that it's not an option. Kids grow up in Palestinian schools understanding that war is not an option. Kids grow up in Israeli schools understanding war is not an option. That is something that we're going to rule out. If it happens, it happens, but we're going to rule it out. It's not like, okay, if you get us angry, we're going to do this. Because that's the culture I think exists and existed that ruined all of it. So we teach the children de-escalation. Right. See, I'm not asking you to forget. I'm not asking anybody to forget. I might be asking you to forgive a little bit. But I'm not asking you to forget what happened. Remember it. We don't want that ever again. Thank you, Larry. Well, we live in an intelligent society that understands psychology and sociology, and there's ways to move those programs and those ideas. But what happens is we get spies that are corrupt, we get people in government that are corrupt, and they move the others. You've got people that want to be neo-Nazis, and they move corruption. And then we never get anywhere. But you do have to look at Musk to see if he affected my life, because the timing, 2016 or so, when I started communicating with Tesla, I don't know if my stuff went anywhere. Again, there were people in Facebook limiting the reach of my information. Correct. So I don't know if Musk saw anything, but maybe he just went whack on me or something, wanted to kill the Jew. I don't know. Right. You need to find out. It killed everything, right, that we were moving in peace, and then caused the wars and extended the wars. Right. I don't care who it is. You just find them. If it happens to be Musk, then it happens to be Musk. If it happens to CIA, then it happens to CIA. They need to be ended. Right. And of course, theoretically, Kash is going to help you. Now, the other thing, Kash Patel has to understand that you can't stop at Republicans. If Republicans are doing the deep state, then they need to be done away with, ended. They have to move on. Right. Well, because that's what we're really fighting. The deep state is actually Project Artichoke. Right. The idea that you manipulate your enemy into being wrong, I mean, it's really just, again, it may have helped Trump at a certain point, but it's what made the problem. If it didn't exist, then Trump would have had 2 solid terms and things would have worked better. Right. You also have to look for the corrupt use of satellites, include direct energy, ultrasonics. I brought that up before. I don't, we had a lot of break in conversation because we had so many other things we had to deal with. Right. Brainwashing using satellite, some sort of satellite telemetry or something. Oh my gosh. Well, I suspect that, Elon Musk, if Elon Musk is the neo-Nazi, then he might be running some sort of side program. I don't know. Again, you have to investigate it. Oh my God. In fact, they could cause terrorist events with that. I mean, I see it in the possibility realm. I'm not telling you that it exists, but you can brainwash people with direct energy and ultrasonics. That could be the whole reason October 7th existed. Somebody could have brainwashed them with satellite telemetry. If I'm using the right term, I have to look. Thank you, Larry. Now we'll get it fixed, Mr. Trump. You'll see. We'll get it fixed, Mr. Trump. The old-fashioned way. They think they're the old-fashioned way. Thank you, Mitch. That may have been what. Maybe I'm not supposed to know what Mr. Trump said. What he's asking about. No, he definitely was trying to project something. I don't know if he's doing it at me or just at everybody. I just couldn't hear him. Well, economy is it may have been economy. I think we're okay. I just don't know about the tariffs. Again, if I don't know if we're there. Did he do anything with the tariffs yet? I think he's going to negotiate first, right, to see if he needs the tariff. Right. I think that's what the goal was. Right, sir. Well, today's supposedly the last real cold day. Supposedly warm up a little bit tomorrow. It was like -5 last night and felt like it said wind chill was like -15. It's like Alaska here. Pretty cold in Kansas. They're projecting all sorts of stuff. They're Nazis, man. I can see them. Thank you, Larry. We're trying to project the thought that it's all my fault. That's what they do all the time. Correct. Thank you. Now you have to start moving the anti-Nazi operations, and the kids are the kids. Still, yeah, but I believe there's a hidden Nazi movement. Again, the neo-Nazis, they could be hidden. I believe that you'll find them hidden. They secreted. They have like handshakes and salutes and stuff that they do in private. Right. When you're the rich Jew in Israel, they kind of rub elbows, right? Because it's beneficial, right? But then they're killing the everyday Jew. Again, they try to embrace the Judenrecht, but they do it, based upon a kind of a psyop concept. The us and them, like the poor Jews, not you. We're more like you because we're all rich, right? Now we need to end it. We need to move forward. Again, the Palestinian thing looks like it's going to work out. So you move your assets against the Nazis. Whether it be billionaires or millionaires, don't care. Get rid of them. Maybe he has to drop out of the mainstream world for a while and rethink his ways. Right. Well, he's made a move to take over Doge, if that's what you call it, Doge, whatever it is. Right. 100%. Well, he needs to be cleared by somebody that can really clear him. How about that? I agree. FBI FBI. I don't give a shit about them. If they like Elon, they clear him. If they don't like Elon, they don't clear him. I mean, that's all that is. Right. You need to have a meeting on it, like today or as soon as. I don't know. What's it nighttime over there now? Regular. Bring Netanyahu in. Netanyahu needs to make a decision too. Now, the opposition leader, what is he? He's guaranteeing Netanyahu safe passage, right? For now. Right. How we feel about him? Well, I think we need to actually at this point, Netanyahu can just be part of it. I guess at this point, once we discover the end of the investigation, and if it's showing a negative result, then we need to bring people in and let them know what's going on. Right? I don't know. I guess maybe he can't. I don't know how you do it. You do it. He might be loose, and I don't know. Right. No, that's it. That's it. Okay. When I saw the kids, the young people being anti-Semitic, I had a feeling that there's something driving it, and it may be trying to push them over the edge, political purpose. Right. But I felt that there was that, as it progressed, that there was a Nazi element that was part of it. There may have been a conservative Nazi element, or at least representing themselves that way. Right. A lot of conservatives aren't conservatives. Right. So it's kind of like smoke and mirrors, Look over here. Mossad does that. Right? So you look over here at those kids that are anti-Semitic, but the actual anti-Semitic movement is like maybe a bunch of millionaires and billionaires, right? And they're running, I don't get a job because I'm Jew, right? Or they send their death squads out because I'm a Jew to break into my apartment. So we need to look at that. That's the next priority. Well, I think Hamas is, it exists. Okay, so what is Hamas, and what is the danger of Hamas? And like I told you, it doesn't. You have Al Qaeda, you have ISIS, there's nothing in the name. The name means nothing. I brought this up before, a long time ago. The organizational name doesn't mean anything. Right? Nothing. Like we are the new this. They're not the new anything. It's the same thing. Right. So Hamas does need to go by the wayside. Good. But the danger is the ideology, not Hamas. Do you understand that? Hamas is not the danger, it's the ideology that's the danger. Because if you believe you get somewhere by getting rid of Hamas, you get nowhere because the ideology still exists. So it's a false goal. Now, education is part of that goal of getting rid of the ideology. But again, how do we get there? Again, through the peace negotiations, through spending time together, right? By designing maybe. Here, you work on projects together. I brought that up with Russia and the United States. Right. You define a curriculum for Israeli children and a certain class that they have to take throughout their years. And that class is for Israeli children and Palestinian children. They both have the same curriculum. And it teaches them the de-escalation and all the other things that we want them to learn so that we have a peaceful coexistence. And during the year, they have outings. And what do they do with these outings? They interact. Now, again, we're probably going to need, I guess, do we need interpreters? I think we need interpreters. So sometimes there's a language barrier. I don't know if the Arabs learn Israeli or not, Hebrew or. Right. So again, we have some barriers, but we can get through some of those barriers, and we teach children de-escalation and what to do when you're confronted with a corrupt government person. Don't take it personal. Make a complaint. And then we teach the Israeli that you have to act on the complaint. You can't just let it go. Then it festers into something bigger. I'm not telling you to ruin a person's career over something small, but just at least honor it. Retrain and retain. So you train the person, you keep them. God bless you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. So we could bring some Palestinian people together. We bring some Israeli together, educators, psychologists, sociologists, and we come together. We come together with a program for children, and give them the tools to not war, but attain peace and live a peaceful coexistence. Well, both societies are religious, and they should know the enemy is Satan, and Satan is the one that wants us to war. So if I'm a Jewish kid and I believe the enemy is Palestinian, and I'm a Palestinian kid and I believe the enemy is an Israeli person, I'm probably not focused on the scripture. Our enemy is Satan. And Satan wants you to believe it's that person and that person. So what happens when we give into that? We give into Satan. And then Satan wins. Good. If you actually read the Quran, you'll come to the conclusion that you're not to kill a Jew for being Jewish. Unless you want Allah to kill you for being Islamic. You have to read it. understand what it says. If you read the Quran, you should get to the point to say it's in the Torah, it's in the Bible. They all have this pattern. That at a certain point, it becomes apparent that you can't do certain things without triggering something else. And cause and effect. It's a very intelligent document. You have to know what you're reading. Well, the idea of mercy. A lot of people in Islamic world that were militant played with the term mercy. What is mercy? Well, do you want God to treat you like you treat the other person? Do you want God to believe mercy for you is harming you? That's how the Quran's written. If you get to a point, well, again, one of the most, I pull, Hashem showed me some scripture in the Quran, and it says, Muhammad came here for mercy. That was the epitome of his mission. It's all throughout the Quran. And then it says, it talks about Allah and how wonderful Allah is because Allah has certain characteristics. The same thing about Hashem, right? But yet we overlook those characteristics being the preeminent behavior that the scriptures seek. And I'm human. I say human things. I do human things. At least here I'm human. Some would again, until I got really injured, some believed I was like invincible, I guess. But again, they committed crimes. If they weren't allowed to commit crimes, I'd have been fine. Right. We're very sorry. Like a word. They're still projecting. Yeah, they need to be ended. Yeah, right now they're focusing on me and projecting. Now, is it something I'm doing? It's something you're doing. The United States is full of corrupt government officials, Larry, and they're using cloaking devices. Back at you, all of you. Maybe that's what I need to do. Just keep putting the spirits out there to destroy them and just focus on that again. And a bunch of golems will come and take them. So back where we were, that's what we need to do. We need to begin curriculum for children to help them de-escalate and do the right thing. Right. I'm gonna have to stop eating the soy food. It has a strange reaction. The soy food I purchased from Walmart. Just gonna throw out the remainder of it. Nah, because I stopped eating it for a couple of days and then reintroduced it, and it seems to have a psychoactive effect. To the trash with it. I got like 3 of these burgers left. I stopped eating it and then I ate one of the burgers, and there's definitely a psychoactive effect, whatever it is. Probably need to check that out too. I brought that up before. Right. Boy, it's kind of a whack weather pattern. Yeah, I'm definitely over COVID. I can feel that. Right. And my body's definitely relaxing a lot. I have some like spots that need to be worked out with massage. Remember, they attack me. It's not about me, and it's never been. It's about all of you and ways that you can succeed and not have October 7th or what is it? Is October 7th? What is it? November 7th, whatever it is. I get October J6, October 7th, right? Thank you, friend. No, I can't hear the question. Well, I don't have the meeting information, so I don't know what they spoke to with the Egyptians. I think a border checkpoint is appropriate. Again, what am I seeing possibly? Well, that we need to protect the Palestinians from having that happen in their midst, right? We need to stop rockets and things like that getting through. Yeah, this is the last day of really, really nasty weather. But the funny part is, I think tonight it's going to be like a degree warmer than it's going to get all day, like at 11 p.m. So it's going to be one of those nights. And then tomorrow it's going to go up to 38. It's going to drop a little bit the next day, but we'll be up in the 40s. Well, if I didn't have COVID and all that stuff going on and this bodily issue, I wouldn't even care about the weather, right? But I got a lot going on. I just want to have some nice weather again. I'll tell you what, it's like a ghost town. When I walk outside, it's like a ghost town over here. But I think it was like that last year, and it wasn't even that cold. We still got the snow on the ground from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, from what I can tell, I only had COVID probably for a week. It's just the week before I had the sinus thing, and I started back on my. I figured to start back on my allergy medication. But then when the COVID hit, I had to switch my medication. Right? I didn't want to take all of it at once. So I'm on the backside of COVID, and COVID had probably already disappeared. And I'm like trying to medicate it a little bit, but it was allergies. And sinus issues. I mean, it's a pretty bad year for sinus. Right. God, friend. So I'll definitely be focusing on shutting down this apartment in the near future. So I'll be ready when the lease expires. I was hoping to be ready last time, but they were attacking me so hard I couldn't get anywhere. So again, we got to check to see if billionaires and millionaires are breaking into people's houses and apartments and overcoming their security devices. Like, right, we again, football players. Well, what's going on there? Is it really Venezuelans or is it billionaires and millionaires just trying to rule somebody? 100%. Making it look like a thievery. Again, I'm not against billionaires and millionaires, but there is a limit, right? Again, we might have a neo-Nazi skinhead type of thing going on in our midst, and we don't realize it because they're focusing us in other directions. Okay.